I've ever personally met. Now, there probably are others somewhere, but I've never seen it, which is rather disappointing. But at the same time, we have a lot of opportunity, I think, for black businesses through this avenue. And like I said, check the website. We want you to participate. Now, when you look at this, because like I said, RFPs are put out sporadically, and who knows when the next one will come out for your particular area. The thing is that the most immediate way, I think, for you guys to participate is to find an area on here that we provide and we have a vendor for already. One of the things that state law requires is that there be a good faith effort to use a window. Now, I'm sure you know what normally goes on with that. A good faith effort is shown, and no minority business is used in many cases. In this case, what I personally ask you to do, if you see a vendor on here that you do the same thing, contact them. Let them know that you heard a presentation by a representative for TCPM, and that you would like to participate with them in your neck of the woods. If in fact you do what they do and they accept you, then you're off to the races. If you have trouble, call me. Okay? And we will help in any way we can. Because it is important for our organization, being a service organization, that we really get that message out to our vendors, and also all of these public sector entities. These are tax dollars. These are your dollars being spent. Like the brother who was on before me, a good bit of it should be spent with us. And I want to see that happen. One of the things that people ask, well, okay, you're in Houston, you're in Texas, you qualify these vendors for all 50 states. How is that possible? Well, possible in two ways. The main reason is that state law in all 50 states says that one state agency can use a contract that has been approved by another state. Okay. The second thing that we do is that we have a legal team that makes sure that when we issue an RFP, we meet the state requirements of issuing that RFP in all 50 states, so that we comply with state law in the issuance of the RFP. One of those requirements is that it be posted in a local paper for that area. Well, how do you do that? Well, did you know that the USA Today is considered a local paper? And that's where all of our RFPs go to. I mean, go on our website, but we post them in the USA Today, because the USA Today is on every street corner in every small town, and legally it is considered a local paper. So we make sure that we get through all of those legal requirements that everybody has to make sure that once we select a vendor, that vendor is approved from a state standpoint to offer their services to any public sector entity in any of the 50 states. And as of today, we have vendors working in 46 of the 50 states. I don't have a lot else, real simple, but I do want to take in any questions right now before we break for lunch. Anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Now, this vetting process?
Yes.
What is it? You said
Well,
you go through in order to be on this list, you go through a vetting process?
yes. If you go back to the beginning of what I was talking about, that every state requires public sector entities to have a competitive bidding process. Well, what we do that competitive bidding process. We want to find a computer supplier for laptops laptops and desktops, then we issue a RFP, a request for proposal, from any computer manufacturer who would like to be that vendor of choice for public sector entities. They put in their proposals, we narrow down to a short list, we negotiate contracts. The one that has the best contract and offers the best value for our membership is the one that gets that designation. And now that vendor can sell to any public sector entity. And that's the vetting process. I mean, we are 9001, ISO 9001 certified, so there's a lot of intricate checks and balances that go on to make sure that our RFP process, passes muster and meets all the legal requirements and standards. But that's the vetting process. Is we find a vendor, or sometimes multiple vendors. Yes.
So I just want to be clear. So once you narrow down, you identify that vendor, then that vendor submits their bid to, say, the local municipality in New York, for example. I'm just trying to understand how to get around the bidding process countrywide, if you will.
Okay. Okay, that's a good question. You'd have to read the state law in almost any state that requires the competitive bidding process.
Right.
I know the one in Texas the best. I can't recite it, but basically it says that if you are a public sector entity using public funds for the continuance of your business, and you spend more than $10,000 with on any one service or product, then you must have a competitive bid for that particular service or product. Okay. Now, I guess this is a key thing that I missed. We ourselves are a governmental agency. Okay. So when we issue that competitive bid, first of all, we make sure that we comply with the state law, like I said. Okay. Now, like I said, our legal team makes sure that we comply with the state law of all 50 states in issuing that competitive bid. So what happens is that if a city in New York or a school district or whatever wants to use one of our vendors, what they would need to do, or what they would do, is say, yeah, this company has already gone through a competitive bid process and it meets New York state law requirements.
It's like the GSA schedule. But once you win a bid, then you go into marketing mode.
Yes.
You're not bidding anymore. They
You're already in the database, if you will.
Right. And typically, I mean, there's some exceptions, like in the energy area, but typically, we will negotiate the contract before that vendor is given the green flag to go.
Does the school system have the option of rejecting the company that you bid? As an example, office furnishings.
Yeah.
They go through your process and they want the bid for Hamilton County and Chattanooga.
What, are you talking about the school district or are you talking about the vendor?
School district. The choice of a vendor is still left up to the local entity to choose who you have recommended, or because you vetted them and cleared them, they automatically get the bid local.
No, the school district still has a choice. Basically, they have a choice of using a vendor that already has been through a competitive bid process, or they can have their own competitive bid. But it has to be competitively bid. They cannot just go out and choose vendor XYZ and have no competitive bid. Then they're in violation of state law.
Right, I understand.
Okay. So yeah, they still have the choice. In most cases, or I don't know most,